Welcome to Meet the Author. My name is Lee Cara, and today I am so excited to bring you an author that is doing more than just sharing a story. He is definitely helping to change the world, helping to shift the way that our children move through the world. All of us who have children know that it is super important for them to feel safe in the world. And I'm so excited to welcome Jack Horner. Jack, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me today. This is awesome.
Well, I would love to just jump right into it. So, Jack has just written a book. It is the first in a series. So, I want to know what inspired you to write this particular book and within this series specifically.
So I'm retired Coast Guard and retired back in 2014. And when I did, I actually had a company since 2006, but we shifted it over. Excuse me. And what we did is, as I developed my own type of self-defense, but we also do training for safety and security in other areas as well. So what I found is, I was training, and I'm ages 13 and up, really getting the message across and helping people. And our biggest thing is, most self-defense classes, like you're punching a bag until they blow the whistle, and then you go and punch a different type of bag or do something differently. So our biggest thing is, I traveled around the world, but the biggest thing is we traveled in small 3 to 5 person groups, and we didn't travel with weapons. So what we got really good at is that threat recognition. What's a bad area? What's a bad person? What do I need to avoid? How do I avoid it? And so in doing so, it's all about proper mindset and situational awareness. And that's the big thing that we push. So then I started having a lot of people ask, is like, well, what about your kids portion? Like, how are you training kids? And I don't like teaching kids 12 and under how to punch and kick. To me, that's I don't want them doing that. Um, I think if you're 12 and under, 9 times out of 10, you can think your way out of a situation and avoid it altogether before even getting near it. So I work with the lady that works for me. She's a certified Virginia teacher, and she has a lot of background and instructional, and she even wrote her own play and everything. So what we did is, she watched the course, me teach it several times. We've sat down, we talked, and everything like that. And she's really our kids, BMG SAFE Kids program director. And she has developed these kids courses that are based off our adult fundamentals of what we're doing. How to recognize a bad person. And then we also recognize who's a good person that we can go to if our parents are not around. What can we do, and that type of thing. So that's really where kind of all this has gone from. We have 3 programs for our kids. We have toddlers, which is 2 to 4 and a half, 2.5 to 4. Then we have a child safe, which is 5 to 8 year olds. And then we have a youth safe, which is 9 to 12. And the books are actually for our 5 to 8 year old uh, area, but it could be 5 to 9. And for our 9 to 12 year olds, we actually created a board game, so that you have to make it your way around and do different things. And as you flip over a yellow card or an orange card or whatever, I believe it's green, you either have to answer a type of question, what would you do in this scenario, or you have to get up and demonstrate how to get out of something, how to wear your backpack correctly, or something like that. But we love the fact how the books, we get to use them not only to, Jack the Coastie character is kind of spawned off me from my time in the Coast Guard, but we're actually, the book, I love it because it creates a conversation between the parent and the child. And we have questions in the back that the parents can talk to the children about. And and when you start doing that is, you know, and I'm not saying that parents and children aren't speaking. It's just they're not having the right conversation sometimes. And a lot of times, as parents, I'm a father of 2 daughters, and sometimes we don't ask the right questions. So if you're lost, like what would you do? So we get into that type of thing. We're also super excited because our instruction for the books and everything, we've actually attached to SOLs here in Virginia. So we're trying to introduce those into the elementary school systems and trying to talk to people. But so much about self-defense, especially in children, has nothing to do with punching and kicking and everything to do with recognizing who's a bad guy, who's a good person, who can I trust, and then move on from there. And so the stories were actually done. They're past stories of experience I've had in the Coast Guard that and we like to say that Jen kidified it. I know it's not a real word, but it's a word we use. And she actually converted the stories, my stories, into these kids' books, which actually uses the main character, Jack the Coastie, and he goes on these adventures, and he has to work his way through them.
So this first version, this first episode in the adventures is the shark who wanted a shiny. So what are you addressing? Like, what, as a parent, what would my child be learning through this experience of us reading it together and going through the questions?
Well, this first one is about who can you trust? And it's also about helping out others. Jack, throughout this first book, he finds himself, he's playing with his friends, the fish, and then he realizes the fish aren't there. So he has to, you recognize a problem, you work your way through it, what happened to them, why they went away, and then see what you can do to go help them. So we use sharks through our books, I've always had a fear and love of sharks myself, so we incorporate them in the books. But in the further books along we go, you'll find out sharks are not always the villains, and including in this one, they're not bad, And what we're teaching the children is there's sharks in the water. We got to recognize which shark is a good shark, and if we recognize that it's not a good shark, we need to learn how to avoid them and how to do it safely. And we need to let other adults know, hey, that's a bad shark right there, and I really want. Someone needs to know that. Someone needs to watch out for me as a child. So that's what we're pushing along right there.
Wow. And you have others planned. I went and did a little bit of research on your website. So I can see that moving forward, the adventures of Jack the Coastie will be expanded into a whole series of books for young kids. And I think that's absolutely fascinating. So, Pat, beyond that, do you have plans to expand the universe of Jack the Coastie even further?
We do, and we're super excited about this. We are launching a YouTube channel on Kids YouTube, and one day a week will be for toddlers. The second Tuesday will be for toddlers. Wednesday will be for child, the 5 to 8, and Thursday will be the youth 9 to 12. But we also have some videos on the weekends that we'll be releasing as well. So we're super excited about that. We have a lot going on, and that we are actually in the works of doing a series of books for our 9 to 12-year-olds as well. Obviously, they're higher level reading and everything like that, but we can get into a little bit more deeper conversations in the 9 to 12-year-olds as far as scenarios go and all that than we could with the 5 to 8-year-olds. But it's still all about creating those conversations between the child and the parent. And I would love for them to come up and say, I read this in the story today, and this is what I'm confused about. Or as the parent is reading, they can ask them, do you understand what Jack is dealing with right now? So, yeah, we have a ton of stuff that's coming out there, and we're very excited.
That's absolutely amazing. So this is the book, number one, in the beginning of what is to come, which is so much and so important to our youth, to our kids, and really to us as people, because growing up, there was nothing like that for me. So even as the parent reading this to my child, I could probably learn a few things about being aware of the world around me, right? And knowing who's a shark and who good sharks and bad sharks, So the book is absolutely beautiful. The illustrations are so lovely. That cover just really catches your eye. And I saw that your illustrator was someone who has a little bit of a pedigree there. So it's very interesting how you've been able to bring this team together. I'm going to put up a link for all of our viewers. where they can get more information, not only on purchasing this amazing journey of Jack the Coastie, but also to reach out to you and your team for the services that you provide and all the different offerings that you have. And I'm sure that if they go to this website, that there will be a way for them to be connected with your YouTube when all of that gets off the ground and moving forward. I am so excited about this. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience, Jack, before we go about safety, something they can take away right now and share with their kids?
So what's really good, real quick, before we get into that, is our 2 to 4, our 5 to 8, and our 9 to 12, we actually offer classes as well. They're quick classes. They're not real difficult and stuff like that. And we can even recognize, even in the COVID situation that we're dealing with right now, which will kind of dovetail into your question. We're going to keep the classes very small. Everything is 6 feet apart. We're doing it outside, but it's the class that goes with it that actually helps out a lot, conveying that message. My biggest thing right now is, as everybody knows, that crime has gone up 23% nationwide due to this COVID that we're dealing with. And the biggest reason why is that everybody's required to wear a mask. So everybody says to me, how do you spot a bad person when they're wearing a mask? And I say two things. Watch their eyes and look at their intentions. Their body language will tell you what they're doing. Someone who avoids gaze at you, but is actually their body is kind of making their way closer to you, they're trying to be sneaky. So that's what I would say, is you can read the body language. The body will tell you everything you need to know about what's going to happen. And listen to your own intuitions. And if something, we call it our spidey senses on the back of your neck, right? When the hair stands up and stuff. So if you have something in your mind telling you that, you know what, I don't feel comfortable about this and something's not right, 9 times out of 10, it probably isn't. And you probably need to remove yourself from that situation. I hope that answers.
And those classes are local to the Williamsburg area right now, correct?
They are local, but we will travel to different locations to provide the training.
Perfect. Well, I am so excited to have met you, Jack. I'm excited for the book. And if you are an author out there and you would like to bring your message to the world, you can reach out to Blue Dragon Publishing, and they will be able to talk you through all the steps that you need so that you can also have an effect on the world the way that Jack is. Thank you again, Jack. I'm so grateful for you being here. And once again, you can get a copy of that book at BMGSafeKids.com. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Have a great afternoon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.